want them to think.
All right, here they come.
Who's here?
All right.
I see some people. I see some people I haven't seen for a minute.
You are so right.
Miss Connie Blount, how are you?
Oh, hey, look, I guess I'm okay. I'm still here. What can I say?
That's all. Mr. Richard Turner, I see you. Good to
What
see you.
continent is Tina in right now?
I think Tina was in Antarctica, but so I'm kind of blocked with the name.
Here. I'm here.
Who, Tina? You're here?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes, I'm
there's
here.
Okay.
Tina's here.
Okay, I didn't
Hello.
see. Where are you in the U? How was Antarctica? She just
Oh,
came back from.
It was marvelous. Oh my goodness. I loved it. The whole experience.
That's my traveler right there. Hmm?
Wow.
I had to end up getting it on my phone. I couldn't get it on my tablet.
Aaron, the faces are covered for me. The script that says the meeting is being recorded is, I don't know if that's doing that for other people.
Just one face. I think that's Delphine.
No, I don't even see hers. So I can't see.
That's Brad.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I was trying to get it in on my tablet. It won't let me in, but I am on my phone. So can't
I'm
see
I'm on my phone.
Phone too? Okay.
Yeah, I'm on my phone. I can see faces though. I see Richard. Hi, Richard. I see Carol.
Tina, hello.
I don't see anyway. I just know everybody's name.
Oh,
I see Jocelyn. I see Vivian.
I see Vivian. Hello.
Yeah.
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Hey.
Hi,
hello, this is Beryl, and I'm not showing my face.
Okay.
But we know your voice.
So this is great. It's great to see everybody. We are at about 30 people here. We had 58 register, so there might be some more people who trickle in. But to respect everyone's time, it might be a good idea to start rolling.
Yeah.
Want to start?
We'll have our leader start us.
Well, good evening, everyone. And first of all, thank you for helping us to celebrate as well as honor, which I'm sure many of us did not know that tomorrow is World Water Day. You know, those of us who are in the United States, we take so much for granted. Water, as you will learn tonight, is definitely one of those. Electricity. I just came back from South Africa, where electricity for many people in that country is monitored, and even food scarcity. And this is what we're talking about in 2024. So as many of you know, and many of you have already participated, we started an initiative with the leadership of those who went to East Africa in 2022, a particular project which you're going to learn about tonight. So I first of all would like to thank those, especially my dear friend Becky Doggett, who's really taken this initiative to lead it. She was the first one who really raised the issue of the drought in Kenya. And I also would like to thank those of you who will be joining us in East Africa coming this year. I see a few names, and you will find you will find Kenya or Tanzania, beautiful, but it still in many ways lacks some of the things and services that we need. So our planning committee, along with our nonprofit partner, Water is Life Kenya, and you'll learn more about them. They're based both in Kenya as well as here in the United States. We'd like to share this information with you about some of the aspects of what we're doing with this borehole. All of you know, whether you've been to East Africa with us or not, or you've been, know that Global Linkages has a very deep commitment to community partnerships. We're very proud of that, and this is probably our biggest effort that we've done, as well as what we've also done with you supporting us through our shoes and sneakers and our school supplies. So thank you for your time. We hope not to take up too much of it, but we do want you to learn about this initiative. And whether you have joined us in East Africa or not, it will also help you to understand some of the significant issues that are awaiting us, especially with climate change. And let me do a small shameless plug that if you are interested in 2025, in October, we're going to have a special journey going to Kenya only. Well, we'll also continue with Nairobi, but we will be going to this area where we can see the fruits of our labor, and also go to Amboseli National Park, where there's a really strong focus on elephants. And then we'll end that experience in Mombasa. We'll tell you about that. So as we move through this process, we want you to also see and feel the results. So it's my pleasure now to introduce Ms. Becky Doggett. And again, thank her for her leadership. And she'll tell you a little bit more about our efforts as the Global Linkages Water Borehole Project. Thank you, Becky.
Thank you, Lorna. Good evening, friends. It's wonderful to see so many of you here with us tonight. You know, we all are connected because of Lorna Kay and Global Linkages. And that's how we kind of have come together to be part of this great effort. Several of us who have traveled to Kenya had a wonderful experience in Kenya and Tanzania. We couldn't have asked for more of an experience than what Global Linkages offers us. But we also had a different kind of experience as well, because we saw the signs of the drought, the dry red dust, next to no vegetation. And then we heard from our Maasai friends about how life had become so difficult for them because of the lack of water. The death of their livestock, which affects their livelihood, the many, many miles a day that women and girls walk just to get a bare amount of water for their household. So we saw enough and heard enough to decide that we should raise some money to help that particular community, the Omoti community, drill for water. They call it a borehole, so you've probably seen that name around. And it was because we decided to up our game. You know, we always have brought gifts. We've brought the school supplies, we've brought medical supplies, we've brought sneakers to the communities that we visited. But this time we have to up our game to raise money for the borehole and to bring water into that Omoti community. And that's how the Global Linkages Water Project got started. And so we're here tonight to tell you more about the Global Linkages Water Project, what it hopes to do, the role that you can play in helping us raise the dollars. We're talking about a substantial amount, $100,000. We'll talk more about how that money gets spent and what you can do to help us reach our goals. So as we celebrate World Water Day this year, we have a very special reason for wanting to be a part of the worldwide effort to bring safe, clean, accessible water to all the communities around the world. And so we hope that you will join in that effort. And if you do, you will be very proud of what we are able to accomplish. So I'm going to ask Delphine Fairley now if she will introduce one of the videos that we want to share with you tonight to let you have a better idea of what is going on right now in Kenya. So Delphine?
Okay, thank you, Becky. And yes, I'm Delphine Fairley. I'm currently living in Kent, New York, and I made a trip to Kenya and Tanzania this past fall, and it's where I also learned about this the drought and how it was affecting the Maasai community. So tonight, the video that you're about to see will feature Sammy Tuari and Joyce Tanyan. Sammy is the Maasai community's representative to Global Linkages, and he's also the leader of the Almaty organization. Sammy introduced us to Water is Life Kenya, for which we are very grateful. And Joyce Tanyan is the co-founder of Water is Life Kenya. We'll get to hear more about Water is Life a little bit later, but for the purposes of this video, both Sammy and Joyce will talk about the drought and what's actually happening on the ground in Kenya right now. Okay, and so roll the footage.
Good morning, everyone. This is Joyce Tanyan from Water is Life Kenya, and
this is Sami Tuarari, representing our multi community.
Yes, we're so happy to say hi to all of you Global Linkages, all of you generous and kind people who have been helping support the Omoti Borehole Project. We're super grateful. So glad to meet Sammy here today in front of the beautiful Mountain Kilimanjaro in the background. I just want to say thank you for what you're doing, for the way you're pouring your generosity into this project. We just crossed 30,000, so that is so amazing. So you guys are really on target, and we just want to encourage you to keep on giving because
we really appreciate your sacrifice and your work for our people. You know, initially we used to cover kilometers looking for water. So Global Linkages now are in the situation, and we are really waiting. And we are so grateful that we have our friends, Water is Life, together with us at our community level. We have been together, working together, and we are really happy. And we appreciate everyone. And even when we celebrate World Water Day, we celebrate our donors wherever they are. We feel so loved and considered. So we appreciate you and thank you so much for being there for us and for our people. And so we say, Ashe Ole.
All right.
Okay, and thank you so much for watching that with us. I hope you enjoyed meeting both Sammy and Joyce. And so now we're going to hear a little bit more about this project. And so I'm introducing to you Aaron Lemma, who happens to be our lifeline to Water is Life Kenya. And he's worked with us so closely on this project and helping us get through everything. And so we're really grateful to have him. So I introduce to you Aaron Lemma.
Thank you, Delphine, and thank you, Becky and Lorna, for the really warm welcome tonight. It felt like a little reunion when we signed on, and it seems like a lot of that goes on with Global Linkages. I've been very grateful to be the support person and connection for Water is Life Kenya and Global Linkages in this project, and I'm excited now to walk you through a little bit about kind of what we're raising money for. I'm going to try not to bore you with too much technical stuff, but it is really important to, to ask the question, what does the money do? So we're gonna just jump into that now. If you have any, let's see, can you see the screen?
Yes.
Oh, great, wonderful. All right, so yeah, this is the Global Linkages Water Project, which is supporting the Omoti Community Borehole. Global Linkages and Water is Life Kenya had a chance to meet in Kenya last year. So This is in October. So this is our co-founder, Joseph LaRasha. You just heard from Joyce, who is our US co-founder, and LaRasha is our Kenyan co-founder. So that's really what makes our organization strong and makes us work well together, as we have that team. Of course, we have Lorna, David, Sammy, and Jessica. They had a great time meeting and brainstorming and dreaming about what this project could be last year. So we're a nonprofit. We're based in Delaware, but we work in southern Kenya. So we work down here. So we work south of Nairobi in a place called Kajiado County. And as you can see by this map, there are definitely some dry places down here. Amboseli National Park is nestled right where my mouse is. And then this is Mount Kilimanjaro, which you just saw in the video. So there's Mount Kilimanjaro. There are our friends, the elephants. And if you get to travel with Global Linkages to Kenya, you will see them. They are everywhere. They influence our work. They influence the community that lives there. And they are beautiful, majestic creatures. The other thing pictured in this photo, I use this photo a lot when we're doing presentations. The other thing pictured here is grass, and grass is an essential asset to the people and the livestock that live here. So this is life for Maasai people. Maasai people love cows. They love, nothing is better than a healthier fat cow. Nothing is better than a field of fresh grass after the rain. This is life. Cows are the engine of their economy. When it rains, times are good. They have money to send their kids to school. There is more water nearby. But when it doesn't rain and the grass doesn't grow, life gets really hard. So this is this is why the Maasai people say Nkare Enkishui. Nkare Enkishui means water is life. And so when our co-founder Joyce Tanyan first traveled to Kenya, she first went to visit a friend. She loved it so much that she decided to volunteer there for a year. And then she went back, she was volunteering, she was raising money for girls' education, and she met Joseph LaRasha on a fundraising walk. And that's where she really got to know the Maasai people and got to hear them talk about their struggles for water on a daily basis. And this is where she learned Nkare Enkishui. So this kind of initial point of seeing women walking for water, sometimes 6 hours round trip a day, sometimes 8 hours round trip a day just to get water. And during drought times, 10 hours, 12 hours a day to collect water every single day. This is what she saw. And that's what kind of spurred the beginning of Water is Life Kenya. Again, this is when times are plenty. And I'm going to show you some difficult pictures, but this is the reality for Maasai people when times are not plenty. Like the past 3 years when there was a drought. So skinny cows are really a bad sign. They're a sign that things are collapsing, the environment is collapsing, and incomes are about to collapse. And this is actually Sammy with some dead cows near Olmoti. When a cow dies, that's money for school fees, that's money for food. Things get really difficult. Now, these cows rely on grass, of course, but they also rely on water. And so when there's a drought, the water points get pushed further and further away. And the men actually have to go with their cattle far, far away in order to eat grass and to have water for the cattle. So drought actually separates families. The women have to walk even further to get water. The men are further away. The kids can't go to school. It's a really horrible situation. This is what it looks like to walk for water in Almaty. Sometimes there are some donkey assistants. Sometimes there aren't. This is actually very close to an elephant corridor. So we love elephants and they're beautiful, but if you sneak up on an elephant or you get in their way, it's actually incredibly dangerous. So women in Almaty right now are walking 8 hours a day through an elephant corridor with other wild animals there too, just to collect water. This is not in a picture in Almaty. This is a picture in another place, but similar situations are found in this whole area. So you might go to a seasonal river to collect water. As you can see, this water is shared by animals. They put their droppings in the water. It's not safe for consumption. This is actually some of the clearer water that you'll find. There are some really, really dirty water places where water is collected. There's wild animals that drink from this water too. So this is what Water is Life Kenya does. We drill wells. We hire local contractors and we drill up to 300 meters in some places. So that's 1,000 feet. The Mount Kilimanjaro really impacts the work we do. And so the aquifers are very low. We have to drill up to 1,000 feet deep to get water in certain places. The water, when it comes out, is fresh and clean on most cases. Drilling alone, if you're drilling that deep, can cost anywhere from $10,000 to $15,000. But there is water and there is life, and there are communities that are changing, that have changed because of the work we've done. We've done 18 of these deep borehole wells and close to 30 water projects. By the end of this year, we'll have brought clean water to 100,000 people in southern Kenya. So we just work in southern Kenya. We work with the Maasai people, and this is the work we do. This is what a project might look like. We mentioned elephants, right? So there's elephants nearby, and the elephants love fresh, clean water, and they'll destroy everything to get it. So we have to build things out of concrete. That's expensive. Those capital projects, the construction part might take $30,000. All local labor that's hired. There's water troughs for cows and elephants, so the elephants don't break down the water tank. Elephants do drink out of the water troughs at projects. We have a generator and a water pump. Sometimes it's solar, sometimes it's diesel. It depends on the needs of the community. And then there's a water point for women to access. And that's why all of these things put together, the cost of the drilling, the cost of the capital construction, the pump and the generator, as well as the mobilizing part. The most important part of this is the people, right? There's the hardware and then there's the software. So we work to make sure that these communities not only have this water supply, but actually know how to manage it. They know how to collect water tariffs every month. They know how to solve disputes. They know how to organize themselves and call meetings. They know how to lead their community. In Almaty, there are Sammy and his group have registered over 725 members. So those are adults in Almaty who have already registered for this borehole project. So the mobilization, that part of the mobilization, Water is Life Kenya has supported that through the funds that have already been raised. So it continues to go. And I did want to share this video to give you a sense of what it looks like when our projects are completed. So this is, I'm going to make sure I can share sound. So this video is about 3 minutes long. It is worth seeing. I know we don't have, I want to make sure we're being respectful of your time, but just want to show you the real impact that can happen from our projects.
In Olepolo's village on the slopes of Mount Kilimanjaro, women and girls sing to celebrate the gift of water. Water is a basic right guaranteed to citizens under the Kenyan Constitution. Access to clean water, however, remains a challenge for remote communities.
We used to walk several kilometers across the border to fetch water in Tanzania. Sometimes we would get harassed by the people there because of our being in a foreign country. We would be told to collect and carry donkey dung in our shukas. It was just pure harassment.
Poverty levels were very high because our livestock used to die from lack of water. There could be grass, but without water, livestock can't survive.
Frequent prolonged drought from climate change has exacerbated the water problem in arid and semi-arid areas. Women and girls have been affected the most by the situation. Water is Life Kenya, a US-based charity, is helping women and girls gain access to clean water by drilling wells and boreholes and harvesting rainwater, therefore reducing the distances they need to travel.
spending their whole day fetching water. It prevented a lot of girls from going to school. You'll find most of the adult women in this community haven't been to school at all. And so we really wanted to, target a project that would help them be able to transform their lives.
Residents say the water project has made a big difference.
To be honest, our lives have really changed for the better. Now our kids are going to school.
Now it feels like paradise. There is no problem. You fetch water, do your laundry. The kids are clean for school. You have more time. We are in a much better place, and we are happy for that.
With 25 such water projects completed in different villages in Kajiado County and benefiting more than 100,000 residents, Water is Life Kenya co-founder Joyce Tanian says the work has been rewarding.
That essential barrier can be removed, water's there. Now people can develop. That's to me a dream, and that's the best thing in life, actually. To see that fruit happening, those fruits growing, people developing themselves, that's a miracle.
The saying, water is life, has never had a greater meaning for residents of Ole Polus. As women and girls of the village sing in celebration, many people in other remote arid areas of Kenya still need water. Juma Mjanga for VOA News, Ole Polus, Kenya.
So that's what we're raising money for. Okay, that's what we're raising money for this project. That we don't even know. I mean, this is World Water Day is tomorrow. We don't even know, what people have to go through every day, but also we don't know what people are capable of. And water helps that become a possibility for people. And this is real stuff, right? So we've been around for 17 years. We've done that project actually was completed in 2012. So it's been running for that long. When that well was drilled, nothing was there. Now there's shops and there's a community center. So people's lives are changing, and that's why we're really happy to be working on this. So to give a fundraising update, I'm going to pass it over to Carol Best, who has been a really strong fundraiser on this project. So Carol, go ahead. I'll pull up your slide in just a second.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Like Aaron said, my name is Carol Best. I'm here in Evans, Georgia, and I went to Kenya in 2022 with Global Linkages. So I got an opportunity to see the drought firsthand and how much it has devastated the community. And I have been aggressively working with Lorna and team for a little bit now to work the project, work the logistics of the project, and then we initiated fundraising. So if you can pull up the slide, this is where we are to date. We established some objectives and milestones. And the purpose of doing that was to try to keep the process going by having some organization to what we were doing as we attacked fundraising. The initial discussion from the team at large was to have 20 ambassadors with the goal of raising $5,000 each. And the intent behind this, because everybody that's doing this is a volunteer, was to try to relieve the burden across the Global Linkages community. We've not been successful so far with getting the 20 ambassadors, but we have a dozen or so ambassadors that have really put forth an effort to try to raise these funds. So if there's anyone on this call that's interested in being an ambassador and a fundraiser and to support this effort, we have different tools that we can provide you, and just feel free to reach out to anyone on this call on the Global Linkages team after this call to let us know if you're interested. Now, having said, what we did was we started our official fundraising in December of 2023, and we set some milestones with some dollar amounts that we wanted to obtain so that we could keep the project moving. And our first milestone was to try to raise 15,000 by the 31st of December, and we did it. So, I mean, kudos to everyone that kicked in and got everything started, because we actually started on the 7th of December. And by the 31st of December, we had raised the first 15K. We continue to work with our second milestone of being the 31st of March to raise 30,000. And as of today, we have raised $31,125. So again, congratulations to all of those hardworking volunteer fundraisers out there that's really kicked into gear. Our next major push is going to be in June, because we want to keep this momentum going. And our goal is to have $50,000 by June, because like Aaron just said, infrastructure is going to have to be hardened. And it takes money to do concrete and to buy generators and all of those kinds of things. So we intend to keep the momentum going with the goal of raising that first 50,000 by June, with our overarching goal being $100,000 shortly after that, so that we can complete this project. So far to date, like I said, we've raised 31,125, and we have a total of 124 donors. So kudos to everybody that's helped us get to this point. And I urge anyone that's willing to help us raise this funds to just reach out. We're there and available. And I will be followed by Vivian King that can tell you more of what you can do to support this effort.
Thank you so much, Carol. I don't have slides. I just have my story. And I was fortunate to be on the same trip as Carol. So in fall of 2022 is when I went to East Africa. And it just struck me how we in America take water for granted. We have our spots where we have water problems. So we do have some water problems here, but most of us can turn on the faucet and we don't even think twice about having water or not having water. And so that's why it just struck me that water is life, and we need to help the people that we saw, because our Maasai brothers and sisters have such generosity in spirit despite their circumstances. And if we can help, we wanted to do that. So as Carol said, we started in December, and it was around Giving Day. And at that time, the first thing I did was a Facebook post, because I had posted my pictures and my journey on Facebook, and many of my friends followed and liked and commented. And so I thought, because they followed that journey, that they might understand and might be able to just, I could tug at their heartstrings, and they could see how I was impacted, and perhaps they would be impacted as well. And so I'm happy to say that I raised about a little more than $1,000 before the end of the year. So that was a fifth of what I was asked to do. Since then, I've reached out to my church, and I know other people have reached out to churches, because my church is a very mission-minded church, and several churches are. And so I know that that's a good source to really find people who, have the mindset to help our brothers and sisters globally. And then the other thing is the personal appeal. And so I have just sat down and made a list of about 65 people, and the list is growing, that I am emailing individually to personally ask them to support this cause and why, and really letting them know that we take water for granted, and can they help some people who do not have the same comfort that we have when it comes to water. So I know that others have done, have reached out to their barbershops. I know Becky reached out to the barbershop and has a donation from the barbershop. and various friends and my travelers as well, fellow travelers have donated, and friends as well. And so those are just a few things that I have done. And if you're interested in getting on this journey with us, as Carol said, we're here to answer any questions and to help you along the way. Now, I do not know who I am turning to, and I apologize.
That's all right.
Who's
That's
next?
right, Vivian. Thank you so much, Vivian. We're going to move into question and answer period because I'm sure some of you have questions you would like answered. Also, in the chat, I put my my email address in case you want to follow up. One, to help join the cause, but also if you have other questions that I can answer, I'll be happy to do that. So now we are open for questions from our friends who are on the call tonight.
Hello, my name is Darlene Anderson. Can you hear me?
Oh, yes. Yes, Darlene.
Okay. I would love to join to be an ambassador and to donate to be able to raise funds for this. Okay, I'm kind of new with this, so excuse me. So
Darlene, tell them where you just came from, though. You're not a newbie anymore.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm from I came from South Africa. I went to South Africa. And I'm a little nervous, so I would just like to join and try to help out the best I can. Okay.
That's wonderful. Thank you, Darlene. Wonderful.
Yeah, and let me just add that Darlene, if she doesn't mind, is a long-term employee of our area's major employer, and that is Prudential Insurance. And like many large corporations, they have a matching fund.
Oh,
so
yeah.
by Darlene's involvement with us, will help and double. So some of us may work for a corporation that can match it as well. So I just wanted to kind of to raise that. And before the next question, I think most of everyone who's traveled, and those of you who are still newbies, and that are those that are going to East Africa, is that we really use travel for everyone to become a world citizen. You know, we kind of lure you in to go to these wonderful places in the African continent and now Brazil as well. But what we really are looking is for you to expand and define and look at the continent much differently. So this is just another embellishment as we now, as a good friend of mine calls everyone, we've had over almost 1,000 people through 25 years that's traveled with Global Linkages to be world citizens. And this act just makes it even closer of engaging with the Maasais. Those of you who are going in the fall, you'll get to meet Sammy, you'll see the terrain, and even just as important, and David Eileen, who's on the committee, can tell you, you'll be at the foot of Mount Kilimanjaro. You're not going to go to the summit. You're not going to do that. But how many people can say that they've been to the largest and one of the most beautiful mountains in the world? But with all of that, there's also this accountability, as Vivian says, that we have so much here in the US. Even when we don't, that just helping with this initiative can just spread our affinity. And believe me, and everybody who knows Sammy and the chief and other people that you'll get to meet will know that we develop bonds and friendships with people that we may not have even had access to unless we had this travel experience that really is really getting everyone to be a world citizen. So I just wanted to add that on as a lure, especially for those who have not traveled with Global Linkages yet. So Becky?
Yep, that's a very important point. Thanks, thanks, Lorna. And Lorna was mentioning Sammy Traoré. He sends his greetings. Usually when we meet in the mornings, he's able to join us because there's a 7-hour difference, but it's about 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock there now, AM. So that's why we asked him to make the video so that you could meet him at least by video and he sends his greetings to all of us, and also his thanks for our support and for our interest. So now, and thanks again, Darlene, for signing up. Anyone else have a question? Anyone else would like to?
Becky?
Hi. Okay.
Becky, there's a question in the chat from Jocelyn White.
Okay, Jocelyn.
Hi. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for the work that you have already started. It's really exciting. I have two questions. One is, how soon can the project start? Like if we had $50,000 raised, would they be able to start the project, or they can't start until we reach the goal of 100,000? And then what is the process to make sure that sustainability is part of the project?
Yeah, excellent question. I'll get back to Aaron with that question, because we were just discussing the milestones and the dollars that we've raised. So Aaron, you want to take a shot?
Absolutely. Yeah, Jocelyn, great questions. Thank you so much. So the project has already started. We started last year with a needs assessment, and then we have since mobilized the community, and we've done a hydrogeological survey. So we actually have a location to drill. We have a depth of how far we think we'll get first water and sustainable water flow. So the next step is to drill. And that just kind of takes the right season. Right now it's the rainy season. And right now
I'm
it's
just calling to find out how you did today. I know you probably worked today, so I didn't want to call because I was probably really busy.
That's okay. So yeah, so the project's already started. We have a site to drill. We're just waiting on, right now it's raining, and you can't bring the heavy drilling rigs on muddy roads. So we're waiting for it to dry up before we can start drilling. But we roll as we get the money. So we have the 30,000, we have enough to drill. So we're gonna just kind of reach that next milestone, and then we'll have the next to start the construction. The other question, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, are rain barrels or anything to catch the rain? Is that an option during the rainy season?
A great question, Patricia. Yeah, great question. So, actually, rainwater capture it is simple, but it also takes another investment. So for us, we don't typically do rainwater collection at borehole sites. We do have a team of engineers that actually engineers rainwater catchment systems on buildings. But that is a whole other kind of capital and time investment. That works better when there's already large, like, school buildings around. It's about surface area when you get to rainwater harvesting. But that's a great question. I wanted to get back to Jocelyn's question about sustainability. So a statistic for you, and this is from UNICEF. So the global water project success rate, okay, after 2 years is 30 to 50%. Global water project success rate around the world after 2 years of running is 30 to 50%. Okay. That's not very high. Like you'd think you would want it to be closer to 100, because you don't want the project, especially if there's capital investment, to not work. Right. Some of our projects have been running for over 15 years. And our project success rate overall for those 30 projects I mentioned is 85 and even a little bit above that, 85%. The only reasons that our projects have failed is because of disputes over land and territory, and because of which we since have kind of figured out a way around that in our organizational as we organize the communities. And the other one was salty. We drilled and it was salty. So it's not really even that much of a project failure. Well, our projects are sustainable because we invest in high quality equipment, so the hardware, and then we also invest in developing the software. So the people are the resources, the key resources that make those projects successful. So every water project, including Omoti, has a water management committee. So it has a chairperson, a secretary, a treasurer, and an operator. So those four are the leaders. They live near the borehole. They're the ones who make sure it runs on a daily basis. Those members are trained by us when the project is installed. Then we have a handover ceremony. So we hand the project over from our management to their management. It's So it's a handover ceremony. It's their project. Okay. Where Water is Life Kenya remains around in case there's an issue to solve. But the community manages the project. And then we train that leadership committee every single year. So every year we get all of the borehole management committees together. We train them. We talk to them. We say, what's going on? What could you use help with? And then we also do a site, at least one site visit a year for every project. We also, people have phones, so they can text us when things don't go well. Does that answer your question on sustainability? It is a really important question. That's why I wanted to make sure I covered it.
Yes, I just had another question, but you kind of answered it, because I was wondering about training the local community so that they would be able to sustain it and just hand it over, but you still would remain as consultants as necessary, correct?
Yes, that's correct. So we are always there. We kind of we serve these projects or service these projects in perpetuity. We make sure that they're running. If they're not running, we're going to figure out a way to support the community to get it back up and running. That's really important to us. These projects are expensive, and we have donors who donate money for them. And so we value their investment, and we don't just let these projects, fall by the wayside just because of poor management, or oftentimes it's actually a simple fix. Great question. Thank you so much for asking.
Thank you.
Another question?
I think there's one in the chat. Patricia said, is there literature available to share? Is this project tied to a 501c tax deductible donations? Yes. So Water is Life Kenya is a 501c3 nonprofit organization. Donations are tax deductible. I'm going to share in the chat right now the donation page. So that's the link to the donation page. On that page, there is all the information you need to actually, to make your donation. So you can read more about the project. All right. So you can read about the problem, read about what we're doing to solve it. There's information about how to donate here too. So you can.
And the list of the donors.
Yeah. So then here's our 45 different donations, 124 different donors. Some people donate at different times. And you can see all of these people who have come together so far. Now, some people send us, we accept checks in the mail. There's information about that here, our mailing address. We accept PayPal donations as well, and then we encourage you to ask your employer about corporate matching. So I will also make sure that goes out to you soon in an email, so that everybody on this call has the link.
And Darlene, talking about information, there is a fundraising kit that Water is Life Kenya has put together for us. So it's got a lot of good resources for how do you get started with the fundraising, information, tools that you can use. So I will be in touch and make sure that you know how to get access to all of that to become an ambassador.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Absolutely. Another question? Did I see another one? Is there another question in the chat?
Just out of curiosity, you said that there was one dig where the water was salty. Is that just a lost cause, or is there any filtration opportunity to get the salt out or do something else with the salt water?
We've been thinking about it. That was our first well that we drilled, was salty. We've been thinking about it since we drilled it. And unfortunately, there's just not that much that can be done. Salt will just destroy machinery. You can't really purify really salty water. If you look at a satellite image of this area, you'll see some like actual strips of salt deposits. It just happens sometimes. So unfortunately, no, although we have been constantly thinking about how we get water to that community. That community is called Meshanani. So Meshanani really has a water issue that we still hope we can solve one day. Yeah, thanks for asking.
You all may recall a few minutes ago, Aaron was talking about the fact that the ground right now in the Omoti community is wet because of rain. So after 3 years, it finally did rain. But what we understand from these experiences is that rainwater is not necessarily clean where it comes down. So the community needs a clean source of water. It needs a reliable source of water, and it needs an accessible source of water so that women are not walking miles and miles and miles to get the water. So that's why the borehole and the drilling for water is so important, is because it makes all of these things available to that community. So it's an excellent investment. If we ever want to donate and see our investment pay off, this is the kind of donation that pays off for years and years, and it will help, thousands of people over the years in having a better life, and we are going to be a part of that.
Becky, I wonder if maybe some of the other ambassadors, like maybe I don't want to put anybody on the spot, but if some of the other ambassadors might talk about some things they've done to raise some money for this project. I know Delphine has she's has the record for most people who have donated on her team.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
She's been doing a fantastic job of spreading the word. I don't know if I don't want to put anybody on the spot, but if you
But he will.
but I am.
Go for it, Delphine.
Okay, hi. All right, so I've pretty much done some of what's already been spoken. I've just reached out to everyone that I know, just about. My prior employer, I used to work for a company who water sustainability was really important to us. So that's kind of why this project tugged at my heart when I first learned about it. And so a lot of my people, a lot of my friends are very much into water and water sustainability. So certainly I reached out to them, but also to family and friends and just anyone that I can talk to about the project. I do that. I started by posting a message about this project on Facebook. And then, of course, I did it on LinkedIn. And I followed up with subsequent messages, updates on the project. And that was where my first donations came. They came through Facebook. And so that kind of like jump started my collection. Now I'm not at the $5,000 yet. I'm getting there. And but that's basically what I've done. I've contacted everyone personally. I've sent texts and emails, and I've phoned people, and just to let them know about the project, because I am very, very I'm just invested in it. It just my heart, my heart just aches when I think about the situation that's there. And while we were in Kenya, I had an opportunity to, well, it was unfortunate. I had to meet with a doctor, and this particular doctor that I met with, he was one of the first people who talked about the project. He didn't talk about it in terms of the drought, but he talked about how the water affected was affecting the people, the fact that they didn't have clean water, and how many of them were taking water from the same sources as the animals, and how it was creating problems where people just, they were sick. Many of them were full of worms, and it's just horrible. It just made me want to cry when I thought about it. And so there is a desperate need for a clean water source that is separate from that which is used by the animals, so that the people will have good hygiene. I had talked to him about the fact that many of them had these marks on their teeth. And, I thought it was like some tribal marking or something like that. And then he explained to me, no, it's not. He said it's from the water. Lack of good, clean water, and the fact that the water that they do drink did not have calcium in it. And so that's what, this why their teeth were the way they were. So just the whole situation just kind of upset me. And so I became very invested in the project. And that is why, one of the reasons why I just reach out to everybody to let them know about it and hope that they'll support us with this because I think it's important. And we're one global community, and all of our brothers' problems are our problems as well, and we're supposed to work together to solve them. Ujima. And that's it.
Thanks, Delphine.
Okay.
Carol,
Hey, Delphine,
Yes.
I would like to speak. My name is Beverlyn Trueheart, and I'm from Sarasota, Florida. And my friend and I, we're interested in helping. So, just like Delphine said, I'm going to reach out to my friends, my family, and try to help that way. And my girlfriend Leslie and I have already sent money, but of course, it's not enough. We need to get more. At least we're going to try to make at least 5,000 so we can submit that.
Oh, wow.
Thanks so much, Beverlyn. Beautiful.
Thank you, Beverlyn.
There's another question in the chat from Valerie Anthony.
Oh, yes, Valerie.
So yeah, she says, what is the current political climate in Kenya and will it affect the project? I can speak about the local government. I don't know, Lorna, if you have anything to say about the current political climate.
Yeah. So I don't know, not to bring in a downer, I think most of us are aware of the horrific things that are going on in Haiti. And the only government that has been able to bring some sense, the Kenyan government has offered, with the support of the UN and others, to bring in some peacekeeping. Now, you're going to need more than peacekeeping. I just raised that, at times, Kenya has been a kind of fluctuating government, but back in 2014, they developed a similar system as we do with the federalism and counties. So things are kind of moving a little better now. Global linkages only works and goes to countries that we know that are stable and where security is not a big issue. That is, we are committed to that. So Kenya and Tanzania, and Tanzania has a woman president. So we're very happy with that. But currently, so we really are starting to see some great things out of Kenya. I'm involved with an organization. As many of you know, we're going to have our next African regional event there in Nairobi in 2026. So, but like all African governments, they still lack all the funds and need as a developing country. All of you will get a chance to either go to Dar es Salaam in Tanzania or Nairobi in Kenya. And these are bustling cities, but the people that you see, particularly the ones that we're helping with Almaty and others, that's the vast majority of Africans. And the governments, for many, many reasons, a lot of this based on post-colonialism, where they don't still have the needs that they have. So, but Kenya as a government, I would say, has been moving towards it. Nothing is perfect. There's always going to be corruption everywhere, but I work in Kenya in some other areas with their universities, and I'm starting to see a great improvement than I did when I first went to Nairobi about 15 years ago. From the local side, Aaron can kind of talk about that because I haven't engaged at that level.
Yeah, thank you, Lorna. That gives really good context for just, the overall picture. And I will say for the local side of things, we work in Kajiado County and we work under the blessing of the Kajiado County government. So the communities actually, when we say we mobilize the community and that they register members, they're registering for a self-help group. So that self-help group is a legal designation. They apply apply for authorization from the Kenyan government to operate, and they're formed for the borehole project specifically. So we've been working in this area for 17 years, and we have good standing with local government officials. So in terms of like the government of Kenya, there's always kind of people who will want to get their hands in things, and water is a very valuable resource. So, even when we were figuring out this project and where it would be, we actually heard from Sammy that there were some people there were some people who wanted it on their land. And that's against our rules, basically. Like, we do not do community projects on private land. So that land has to actually, wherever the hydrogeologist finds the best place to drill, that land has to be donated to the community by whoever owns that land. And there were some people who were trying to get the well on their land, and Sammy said, no, we need water, we need clean water. And the way that we get clean water is to make sure everybody has access to it. So there's always that. There's always people who are trying to kind of, but Sammy has said that those people have since they've seen 725 people register, they have changed their hearts. So, you know, it is challenging, but you need strong local leaders, and that's why Sammy is such an important part of this project. Sammy also said that, you know, after there's water there, they're going to see about planting some trees and growing some trees back, because that area is pretty barren in terms of tree cover. So, you know, the water brings life. The water helps the whole community thrive, and you know, most of the time that's why it's blessed by the local government. It's a good thing.
Great. We're coming to the end of our time together, but are there any other questions anyone would like to raise while we are together? Questions or comments?
I think from a technical side, I'll make sure everybody has access to this recording, and I'll make sure everybody has access to the donation page. And if you have questions, you can send them to Becky, and she'll make sure to get them to the right people.
Great. And you can
Can I-
certainly share the recordings with friends who weren't able to join us tonight. Was someone going to say something?
Yeah, me. I just wanted to have Sammy just say quickly about the investment. You just mentioned about the 700 people who have signed up for it, but can you say just a little teeny bit more about what exactly it is they're doing that they signed up to do?
Aaron?
Sure. Yeah. So they're members of the self-help group. This means so they have paid registration fees. So a small amount of money that goes into the community, kind of the fund for their self-help group. And then they are members of the borehole. So they have a membership, and they renew that membership every month when they pay a water tariff. So talk back to that sustainability question. So economic sustainability is really an important part of this, in microeconomics. So people pay a small amount. For women, it's not very much money at all. For kids, it's even less, and you pay for head of livestock that uses the water. And so this makes so this is the kind of what they're buying into. They're buying the membership. And so then the water has a fund to operate in case there needs to buy diesel or anything like that. They have a fund for maintenance, and then they have a fund for future development. So that's the ideal situation. It's not exactly a co-op. There is actually a legal designation in Kenya for co-ops, and they operate in a different way. It's technically a self-help group with the purpose of running this well. That's how the designation works. Great questions. Thank you, Del.
Thank you.
Great. So Lorna, would you wrap up for us? You got to unmute.
Oh.
Unmute.
Sorry, I thought I was. I would just like everyone tonight, as you prepare to go to bed, when you're brushing your teeth or taking a bath or shower, just to kind of meditate on how easy, or as somebody like me will be washing the dishes after this, that all of this is really easy. Just easy to do. There's no issues. Oh, maybe sometimes we may have a pipe to break or something gets stopped off, but the access to it is just an easy. And just know that there are probably millions of people in the world who don't have that opportunity. So us as people who have had the privilege to either go and have been there or will be going, or just because of our caring heart, can give some other people that we may not even meet ever in our lives the opportunity to have a little bit closer of that ease that we have of getting our own water, whether it's drinking it, using it for health reasons, or any other purpose. And that's all that we're trying to do. Not that the American way of life in all aspects is great, but we do have many privileges, and we're just trying as global citizens to make that imperative with other people who have not had that opportunity. So young girls, young boys can go to school and continue to be the leaders, and to be Pulitzer Prize and Nobel Peace Prize, and maybe even find a cure for cancer so they can read and study. And as simple as that sounds, that's what this initiative could do in bringing opportunities. So I would also like to thank everyone on the committee, all the people on the committee, and now that Darlene are what we call serial global linkagers. They've all have traveled with us at least 4 times, maybe. I think Carol has been 5. I thank you for your commitment and energy. And when we all do this, we're also getting blessed.
Mm-hmm.
We're all getting blessed in this type of transformation. And for those who have not traveled with us yet, we thank you for going on, not only on the physical journey, but the journey to be transformed, as you will see when you travel with us to East Africa this fall. So thank you, everyone. We're doing our best. I should say at the outset, too, that Global Linkages is making a substantial financial commitment, since our name is on that. So we make a quarterly commitment to make sure that we're going to get close to that. And we will be continuing to do that until the project. So I hope in 25, some of you will join us to see this project and to get to meet Sammy and the chief and the others and what we're doing, as well as to experience the fruits of our labor. So thank you, and thank you all of the people on our ambassadorship committees for your dedication and support.
Thank you all.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Night.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Good
Everybody have a
night.
great night.
Good night. Thank you,
Good
Lauren.
night.
Bye-bye.
Good
Good
seeing everybody. I
night.
saw
Good
some people I
night.
hadn't seen.
Thank you, my friends.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Nice job, leadership team. Nice job.
Real team.
Very good job. Yeah, awesome. Awesome. So fun. Well done, and talk soon.
Okay. And thank you, Brad. I see you on here. Thank you for joining the call. Bye-bye.
All right, take care, everybody.
Okay, good night.